So I was saying that generally you hear this word data factory and Databricks. So data factory is for your warehouse kind of application. Okay, it's a ETL tool. Okay, it's a factory. Okay, uses ETL tools. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Right?
Load.
Data from various sources. You transform, and then finally you load as a single source or similar data to your model or to your tools. So this is a ETL process, okay, and mainly designed to handle large scale data movements, data factory. But Databricks, what we are seeing, and that's the topic for discussion, okay, is it's a platform. Okay, so you can call it as a collaborative intelligence platform, okay, where data scientists, okay, your data engineers, okay, statisticians, okay, business analysts as well, they can all come together and work on this platform. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You can build your data science model, AI models. You can run your queries. Okay. Everything is possible here. So in fact, Databricks is built on your PySpark. Okay. And it allows you to do programming. So it's a platform where you can do your Python programming. You can do your Java programming, Spark or SQL programming as well on the platform. Okay, and yes, so as I said, it is a Apache Spark based platform, and this has been customized for all the three platforms. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you use Azure, AWS, Google Cloud Platform. Okay, all these three major players, they have Databricks built into their platform. So it's a third-party platform which all these companies have already built it and kind of created as like their own kind of thing. Okay, so if you have to work with Databricks, you have to go to your cloud companies to use that. Okay, so I'm going to show you my Azure portal. Okay, Azure portal.azure.com and after the class I'm going to send you some notes as well. Okay, so you actually see that. Now you see these are your different services, Azure services. You have Databricks here. Now if you want to use Databricks, you have to have a license, paid license. You cannot do it for free. So generally, when you log in, create an account for the first time, first year is free, right? But that free account does not entitle you for Databricks. Okay. Now, if you want to create this Azure Brick service, okay, you have to see it says no services available. And if I have to create here, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
You have create Azure. Okay. Now, of course, when you see, I have already username password created, so it took me in. But if you have not, do you have an account on Azure? Because I'm more comfortable with Azure platform. Okay, we can talk about AWS as well, but I'm more comfortable with Azure. So the most examples I'll show you will be in Azure. Okay, so yeah, so do you have your account in Azure? If not, you can create. It'll ask you to credit card.
No, like my friend, I used my account.
Oh, okay. So you might have to use second card. If you have second credit card, you can use that to create an account.
Yeah, I can use, or I can use my husband's too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then it's good. So second card, if you have, it will be helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah, because for one card you can have only one account, free account. But anyway, for this Azure, if you want to really go down to practice here, and see, this is expensive because let's say you load the data, okay, and you work for let's say half an hour. Maybe for half an hour, your cost would be let's say $2, $3 or $4, let's say. And then if you forget and if you don't close it, okay, and you close the browser and go away, you know, and then you realize after 10 days, the bill has been $100 will come to. So, so that's why you have to be a little careful when you handle this service. Okay, so if I create an Azure here, okay, it'll ask me to. So generally, what I do generally, if I have this is my personal thing, right? So whenever I do, I use it and then I disable the service. So that way, I don't have to pay more here. So see, I have disabled currently. So you have to have pay as you go service. Okay, you have to have pay as you go service. Okay, and okay, and here you can create your resource. You can, if you don't have, you can create your own resource here, and you have to give your workspace name. Okay, it can be any workspace name. Okay, and again, not only the subscription, but even the pricing tier, okay, it has to be premium,
Okay.
okay, for Databricks. For Apache, and good thing is, I think you can get 15 days of trial version. Okay. So what I want to do is that, I'll make you create an account later and I'll make you do that for 15 days. 15 days, they'll not charge you. So first we'll understand. Okay, we'll
Okay.
practice and we'll understand, and then once we reach a certain level of confidence, then you can create an account for 15 days and you can practice. Okay, so for Databricks. But if you are going directly here, okay, you have to create premium account. Only then you'll be able to use that. And then you give a managed name and you just say review and create. It'll create your Databricks workspace or platform where you can practice. Now, let me just check quickly if I have my presentation ready. I can pull up these slides. Okay, just give me a second. I need to check where it is. Okay, just give me a second. I'll pause the record, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is your, we call it as Databricks workspace.
Okay.
Okay, so this is based on your Apache Spark. Okay, and this is a platform where you can perform data science applications, which is used by your data scientist. Then you can have data engineering work done by data engineers. So data engineers are people who will get the data from various sources and clean the data and make it ready for data scientists to take and work on it.
Yeah.
So here, mostly your work is to get data from various sources. And then the line of business, okay? If you have to make it relevant for your business, right? So you need to have business analyst also as part of your team. So line of business is component where your your business analyst will also be interested in. Okay, so they are also part of your people who actually needs to access Databricks. Okay, so you have data scientists, data engineers, and business analysts, and of course any other people who would be interested in your services. Now, what all applications you can perform on this? You can perform deep learning, machine learning algorithm, right? Okay, you have not done that part so far, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can perform your deep learning algorithms. You can have live data streaming in. Okay. So Databricks also has capability where you can perform your analytics, okay, or machine learning, on the live data. So data would be streaming in and you are working with the live data. It is possible in Azure Bricks. Warehousing, okay, warehousing is another important component. So you can, work with data where you can perform your warehousing concept here because data is there in single form and now you run your tools. So Databricks has tool for warehousing. Okay, it has created tools for warehousing. You can do Power BI visualization. Okay, visualization also you can perform. So Databricks have built-in Power BI license. Okay, so you can directly perform your analytics within Databricks. Okay, so these are your different applications that you can run, and what do you see at the bottom? You see these are different data sources to which your Databricks will connect to. Databricks can connect to each of these sources, or in fact more. You can connect to your Azure Blob Storage, okay, the Lake Store, your Azure SQL Data Warehouse, Apache Kafka, Hadoop Storage. So you can get data from these sources. So you have these people who work on Databricks. Databricks can get data from these sources, and these are the applications that you perform on Databricks. Okay, so it is a platform. But what are these things, these components here? So the first thing that you have to look at is your Databricks workspace. Okay, so when you deploy Databricks in your cloud, it is called as workspace. So it is workspace is your Databricks deployment in the cloud. Okay, and this acts like your environment for your team to access Databricks assets. Right, assets means all the other capabilities that Databricks provide. So you need to create Databricks workspace. So workspace is the deployment, and only workspace you'll be able to access different assets that you have, and you can create multiple workspaces or just one. So remember, okay, creating a workspace is expensive. So your company has to approve if you have to create more workspaces. Okay, it's not your wish, my wish that we create. It has to have an approval process because just for keeping cost low. Okay, so you have so you can create multiple workspace or just one depending upon your need. Okay, and workspace is as I said, right, workspace is where it's the actual deployment of Databricks where you you'll be working with. Okay, you will be working in a workspace. So your people that you see, data scientists, data engineers, business analysts, they will be connecting to a workspace. Okay, and workspace is where you will actually perform all your tasks. Then you see at bottom here is called Databricks serverless, right? So what is the meaning of serverless in cloud perspective? When you talk about serverless, what does it mean?
No, so
Okay, so see, serverless, okay, it's a way of computing. Okay, so as I said, right, Databricks is implemented in your Azure and AWS and various other source. So your license, okay, is not, of course, your Azure or AWS is facilitating you to access Databricks, but it is your access, you are actually accessing Databricks account. So it provides you what's called elastic computer resources. Okay, elastic computer resource means, so that's why it's a serverless. Okay, so you don't have a server. Okay, it is elastic in nature. That means if you want more computing power, you can get more computing power. So you can expand. Now, see, when you're performing data analysis, you want to performing analysis 24 hours a day, right? You'll probably performing 2-3 hours in a day or in a week, let's say 10 hours in a week. I mean, not about your work, but as in accessing Databricks and you working on it. So if so the 1-2 hours when you need the computing power, you can increase it, and once you are done, you can release it. So that's why you say elastic computing resources. That means it expands when you want it, and when you don't want it, contracts back. So you only pay for the amount of time you're using those resources, right?
Yeah.
So depending upon your load, okay, the storage will scale up or scale down. Okay, even you can run your algorithms on clusters. Okay, And so when you create a cluster, you have to associate a cluster with workspace. Okay. And you see your Databricks serverless provides the clusters and entire infrastructure that you need to run your algorithms. So workspace is okay. So workspace is when you connect, but to perform any action, it is serverless in the back end, which will make sure that you get right resources. You are able to perform your task, and when you are done with it, you are able to close your server. So all those things are handled by your Databricks serverless. Then you have workflows here, right? Databricks workflows. So your Databricks workflows provide you in a way a wide range of task types. Okay, so let's say you want to use notebooks to perform your Python program. It will give you notebooks. You want jar files. Okay, it will give you jar files. You want to use Python scripts. Okay, or SQL queries. Okay, so it gives you as the name says workflow. You choose the workflow, and that workflow, the setup is done for you to use that. So if I want to use um, if I want to use notebook, okay, it will create notebook for me. So it is providing me the notebook, and then all the infrastructure that is required in the backend to run a notebook is handled by workflows. Okay, so right, so still like as a user, you will only see the workspace. Okay, these work in the background depending upon your requirement. Then you have Databricks IO. Okay, it's called Databricks input output. So your IO module, okay, leverages what you call as vertically integrated stacks to improve your performance. Okay, so it has cache. Okay, like short memory. Okay, so this is good for your input output process. Okay, mostly when you have to have large data, it enhances the performance. Okay, so it has cache, it will maintain the information in it. So as long as the live session is live, this is activated and it makes your processing faster. So that's why it's the Databricks IO will make your performance faster. It improves the performance of your workspace, because we only see workspace. Okay, and then did we miss the Databricks runtime that you see there? Okay, you have the security. Of course, it is on cloud based, right? It has to have a security. So Databricks Enterprise Security runs across the Databricks to provide a secure environment, and your runtime, okay, is has all the software. Okay, so I told you, right, you can do Python, you can do data science, you can do SQL. Now all of these needs different software, right? So depending upon what you want to do, it will provide you, okay, that kind of software that you need. So it is generally runtime is a set of your software that you need to run on your cluster machine. Okay, so it has different components depending upon what you want to do. That component will be given to you. So all of these together makes Databricks. Okay, and yes, any questions so far on this?
No.
Right, so it kind of gives you an idea what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it gives you, it's a portal, as I said, it's a collaborative, intelligent platform. Okay, workspace is where you need to connect to, that's the face. And in the backend, you have Databricks runtime, IO, serverless, workflows to make sure that you are able to handle any amount of load, your connectivity and your working is secure. You have the required infrastructure to work with the data. Okay, you have the different workflows that you need. Okay, so workflows and runtime, they work together. Okay, workflow is what you want to achieve, and how it is done in the backend, the infrastructure services that you need, it comes from runtime. And of course, in such cases, when you have to handle large volume of data, performance is a big problem. So Databricks IO is there to provide you better performance. So this is like your um, kind of complete understanding, or it gives you everything that you a Databricks is generally made up of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Now, if you see this, okay, graph, and I'll come to this. Okay, I'll come to this presentation or the content that you see. But before that, let's understand. Okay, in real time, okay, any business, okay, that you work on will need multiple applications, isn't it, to run? So it could be your business apps, custom apps, okay, that you see here. You can have a business apps, okay, that you have already installed from third party. Okay. It could be the apps that you have designed yourself. So that's called custom app. And there could be data coming in from live data where nobody has designed it, but let's say you have sensors. Okay, you have social media plugins where you pull your Facebook data or you pull your Instagram data, you pull your LinkedIn data, right? So these are you have sensors. Let's say you're talking about IoT devices where you have temperature thermometer kept there, and they're measuring the temperature and sending you the temperature of your warehouse, right? So you'll have data coming in from various sources. Now, your real time, your work is to handle all of these together, right? Now, let's say, okay, you have all these apps and sensors, and they create lot of data, isn't it? Okay, they'll have a lot of data, and it could be stored in different locations with different formats, isn't it? So now to begin analyzing, okay, you need to put all these data in a single site or single place, right? So as like any analysis that generally we perform, we need to integrate the data coming in from different sources, process this data, and finally transform, okay, the data. And then, so on the left side, these are your different sources, and you do all these things to make sure that you get business insights, right? That you see on the right side. That's the intelligence. That's the output. Okay, it could be a dashboard. Okay, if you are using Power BI, it could be the dashboard thing that you look at it. It could be your prediction if you're using AI model. It could be your data coming in if you're using warehouse kind of applications. So ultimately, you have to get what you want, right? So again, you talk about, when you talk about data, right? In big data, generally we talk about velocity, variety, volume of data, right? Velocity data is that speed at which it comes. Since everything is internet based these days, the data comes at really fast pace, right? That means you can live get the data from various sources, so continuously getting the data. Okay, it could come at volume, right? um, Most of this data in today's world, when you talk about complex applications, the data will be more like unstructured data, right? It could be coming in like a video, audio file, PDF files. So that's called uh, like in terms of size, okay? In terms of like its volume is very high, and variety, right? So, as I said, it could be video format or audio format. So you need to have mechanism to handle all these file coming in from different sources, at different like faster pace. Okay, the variety of data that you are getting, the volume that you are getting, your system has to handle it. Big data has to handle it, right? That's why we call this as big data. Okay, big means your data is has velocity, volume, and variety. Okay.
Variety. Yes, yes, it is.
Okay. So sorry. Okay. So okay, these are your input data coming from different sources, and this is what you want to get, right? Now, how do we process this big data, right? The first thing is you transform the data, right? So processing big data, okay, to get your meaningful insight, okay, you need to use Apache Spark, okay. One of the tool to you to perform this is Apache Spark, and we are talking about it because that's the base foundation for your Databricks. So Apache Spark is an open source tool which helps us to process big data, okay. And this Apache Spark is already implemented in Azure as well, and Databricks is foundation is based on that. Okay, so it's like your Databricks is like Apache Spark implementation in Azure, right? Or in any the cloud service. So when you implement this, you are actually making yourself ready to handle large data or handle big data, right? That's the purpose. Okay, and so here you see the first line inside. Now let's move on to inside this. First is ingestion. Okay, the ingestion is like your data factory will ingest the data into the big data storage. Okay, which could be your Apache Kafka, right? This is where your data is stored. Okay, it could be your IoT hub where you have sensors getting the data, right? These are sensors getting in the data. So data is coming from variety of sources. Okay. So you might have like different sources to store it. Okay. And so what happens is your Databricks, okay, will store it in data lakes. Okay. The data is coming from various sources. It stores in data lake. And now it's time to perform analysis, isn't it? So you want to run machine learning models. Okay. So machine learning model will work on data, okay, which is in single format. So that's what Databricks will do. Okay, we'll take the data and make it ready for your machine learning models, right? So this is your process. And so once you are processing this machine learning, the output has to be another stored, right? So output has to be saved. Okay. So the output from machine learning can be saved in your Cosmos DB or SQL DB or SQL warehouse. Okay. So these are where you go after your machine learning algorithms is done. So this entire thing is handled by Databricks. So Databricks is a platform which handles all of these. Okay. Now, if you look at the ecosystem, right? Apache Spark ecosystem, you have Spark SQL Pro data frames. Okay. So when you want to run SQL statements, use Spark SQL is used. I'm not sure if you have done data frames in Python. Have you done pandas in Python?
Yes.
Yes. So the pandas, gets the data in data frame format, isn't it? The table it's called data frame format. So, so you have data which can be in data frame format, live data streaming is like live data, your machine learning libraries, and you can even do graph computation. Okay. This is not we are not going to do this in our work, but this is also possible. You can go to this level, you can do graph computation. And how's that made available? Okay. Okay. How do you make that available? Because you have here, like a support for these programming languages. Okay. So this is about your Databricks itself. So just to revise. So what did we hear about workspace? So it's a workspace is an environment for accessing all your Databricks assets, right? And your data will be organized in notebooks, Jupyter-like notebooks, libraries, and we call them as experiments. So these are the data into these folders. And then you can manage the workspace using workspace UI, okay, and Databricks CLI, command line interface. Okay, so if you don't want to use UI and if you want to connect to the server and run from your own machine, then you'll be using Databricks CLI. So you need to download and store CLI. And of course, if you have to run APIs, right? And these days we all run APIs, right? We don't have people going in real time. We don't have someone sitting and connecting to Databricks and getting the data manually, right? You need APIs which will connect, get the work done, and come out, right? So Databricks has a workspace UI, and this is what we will going to use. Okay, we are mostly going to use UI, directly go and perform all this. But whatever we perform, you can actually do it through CLI, command line interface, and also through REST APIs. Okay, so yeah, so this you will see in some time, and this is how the Databricks, okay, has its own instance, which is running on its cloud, okay, which is outside Amazon or Azure or Google. And this platform is free for us to use. Okay, so this is where initially we will work. Make sense? Okay. And what I'm going to do, okay, so let's go back to the Databricks. Okay. Okay. So here it says they tried Databricks. Okay. So if you want to try Databricks here, you need to enter all your details here. But if you enter your details, what happens is you only get 14 days of your choice. Okay. And this is the last thing that you'll have to do. Okay. So once we are done, then you connect and then you perform your Azure analysis there. Okay. That's what we will do later. But what we will do is, okay, there is a link, okay. It's called accounts dot cloud dot database. Okay, so yes, this is the link. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll post it in the chat. Okay, and I'll also share it later. Okay, with you. So okay, this link generally you don't get from Google. You have to type a lot of times and then you get it. So you see, you have existing user login and new user login, right? So you click on first time when you're doing it, you have to click on sign up, right? So when you do sign up, okay, you enter all these details. Okay, so let's say I'm just doing it here. Okay, so yeah, so this is not okay. So you see this option here at the bottom?
Yeah, with
community edition. Sorry?
Yeah, with community edition.
Yes. So this is what we need to do. Okay. Community edition is a free edition, free version of Databricks on Databricks platform. Okay. So for this case, you don't have to go to Azure or AWS. You can actually connect to the community edition, and community edition is totally free. But it has some challenges. We'll see. And initial few days we'll work on this. Okay. So yeah. Okay, so you do this. Okay, you do that. I already have an account, so I will directly log on here. Community.cloud.databricks.com. Okay, so this is the community edition. This is the independent standalone version, and I have my own ID and password. So I'll log in into this. Okay. So when you log in into this, okay, you will see here two options. You see data science engineering and machine learning. Okay. If you are on Azure or AWS, and when you set up your workspace correctly, right? When you set up your Databricks correctly, you get exact same view. Okay. Okay, so you get exact same view on Azure or AWS. Okay, and okay, one difference there is that you will also see um, uh, data warehousing. You don't see that here in free version. Okay, data warehousing, because data warehouse typically means big data, right? Lots of data. So it is resource intensive process. So they make a lot of money using data warehousing. So that's why so you don't see data warehousing option in the free one. You there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll see data science engineering, machine learning, and so exactly the same thing you will see. Okay, the view, color, look and feel is exactly same. Okay, and the third option will be your data warehousing if you're on Azure or AWS. Now you can choose any of these, doesn't really matter. Okay, then you'll see these options here: create, workspace, recent search. You have data, compute, workflows, right? So these are your workflows, and these are different services that you perform on um, Databricks. Now, okay, so you can import the data, right? You can browse and you can import, let's say, if you have CSV files or Excel files, okay, you can actually get the data here. So I'm going to just select some data and I'm going to pull it up, let's say. So I've selected an Excel file, and now you can see upload file option here.
Yeah.
This file will get S3 is the storage. S3 is the storage. Okay, your whatever data you pull, it gets to S3. S3 is a service of cloud, which is like a storage service. Okay, you can store files and data there. So now you can upload a file here. Okay, it's called file store tables. You can upload a table. Okay, and whatever you upload will be saved as table only. So okay, now I'm going to click on file to upload, and I'll just click on some local file that I have and uploading. Okay, so it is called 3startup.csv, 2.4 KB uploaded. Okay, now when you upload the file, it says create table with UI or create table in notebook. So let's look at notebook first. Okay, we'll click on notebook. So 3_startup. Okay, now you see notebook is open. This is very much like your Google Colab or your Jupyter book, isn't it? So when you did Python, which tool did you use? Did you use PyCharm or Notebook?
A Jupyter node.
Jupyter. See, so this is exactly the same thing, isn't it? So it has created the command for us. Okay, it's going to create the table. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to say run here. Now, when you click on run, okay, you see there's an option called Python. If you click on Python, do you see this option? SQL, Scala, R?
Yeah.
Depending upon which language you want to. So same notebook, which we use to do Python, you can actually use same notebook to work with different languages. Could be SQL or Python or R. Okay, I'll leave it Python. I'm going to run play button. Okay, run. Sorry, what did I click on? So what happens? Okay, it will not run. I'll show you why. I'm saying run cell. When you click on run cell, it needs a resource, isn't it? It needs a cluster. Cluster is where your work will happen. Cluster is like live machine. Okay. Cluster needs to be created. Okay. And as I said, best part of this is like you have to create a cluster. And if you don't use cluster for like 30-40 minutes, okay, it is deleted. Okay, just to save cost, right? It's giving you everything for free. So there are some challenges like you create a cluster, and if it remains idle for 30-40 minutes, or I think 1 hour, I'm not sure exact time, then it gets deleted from your workspace. You no longer have it. You'll have to create it again. The reason is like community edition that you are using is for learning and practice purpose. Okay, but at the same time they don't want to incur cost. So I'm going to create a cluster called my cluster, which is again a Scala. You have other options here, but it is same thing. Okay, you have machine learning option here as well. Okay, so you can choose. Let's say I choose this one. I say create, attach, and run. Create, attach, and run. So it's going to create a cluster, it's going to attach it, and then going to run your program. So it says it will take some time for the cluster to create and then run. You can also do it. Tomorrow I'll show you that you can directly do it from create here. Okay, it's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes. And whatever we are doing, it's going to run on it. Okay, on the cluster. So table is created on the cluster. Okay, so this code is created automatically. This will create, run and create a temporary table. Okay, called 3startups_CSV. So when you say select star from this, it's going to demonstrate and show you the data. Now this is SQL query, right? See here that it got changed to SQL. This is your Python query. So this is Python. Okay. This is again, second block is again Python. Third block is SQL. So it has changed to SQL. Okay. So you need to change it. This is again Python. So again, you change it to Python. Okay. So this is exactly your Jupyter notebook with one additional, okay, feature, which is called language selection. You select the language in which you want to run. So far good?
Yeah.
So shall we stop here for today? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And tomorrow we'll do hands-on. Okay. We'll start from here. We'll create our cluster. We'll create a table. Okay. We will run the table and we'll perform some SQL statements. Later, we will perform some machine learning steps also. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, and bulk of the things is that, and then next week again, we will do some more stuff on Databricks. So hopefully, I'm assuming that 2 weeks should be enough for us to finish off everything. Okay,
Okay.
we'll
That
finish
sounds
off everything, and then you go back and you create your account. Okay, you take that advantage of your 14 days time period and practice whatever we do on this community edition. So once you practice this, you will get hands-on. Okay, so you just have to get hands-on, get used to different options, clicks, screen basically. Yeah, so you need to practice on your own again. Whatever I've done here, just try to do that. Okay, try to have your account created by tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah.